Hello and welcome to the Gnomecast. My name's Tarmack and I'm taking a second look at Warp by Trapdoor. There's a few people on the Steam forums that wanted a little bit more detail, so I thought I'd do a second video just to try and clean it up a little bit. Where we left off last time, there's been a couple of things that I've gotten through since then. Just again, a couple of the abilities that you're using when you're in the game. You've got your warp back and forth. And one of the newer ones that just showed up is called Echo. So you're basically creating a little fake of yourself. Right? You got the outline there where you can't go beyond, but anything that sees it treats it as though it's you that's right there. Right? So we've got that gun there, decides it's going to take out my little Echo. And your other ability is called Frag. You do a whole bunch of movement back and forth and you're basically blowing stuff up. So to give a bit more education, I guess, on some of the details of the game, here's the control scheme. Very obviously designed for a gamepad. So if you get a gamepad on your PC, you should be just fine as far as controls go. This one came out on the Xbox Live Arcade before it was ported to PC. Now granted, it's only about a month and a half or so from when it was released for the Xbox. The controls on the PC are not good. Using the arrow keys, the movement is just not precise. So when you've got something that's very timing based, very movement centric, you can run into some problems as far as the controls go. So if you do have a gamepad, again, you should be just fine. If you don't, it's still a fun game, but be aware that the controls are going to be a little bit shite. Now going back even further, right here, this sort of photocopier deal, this is where you get to upgrade some of your abilities. So throughout the levels, you're picking up the grubs. And the more grubs you get, the more upgrades you can buy for your characters. You've got things like moving around faster, moving around silently so that enemies don't hear you. We've got some quick regaining of energy, which allows you to warp rapidly in succession. And then warping silently as well. We've also got frag silently. More all in the stealth style of the gameplay. It's a lot of fun to try and confuse the enemies and try and drag them around corners and all that. So I don't know if all of these maybe take away a little bit of that strategy. I'm not sure. The Echo, you've got a stun and a knockdown that can be added to it. The only one that I've picked up so far is just the grub detect. You can also get film canister detect. And last but not least, at least that has been unlocked that I can see it, when you walk over water you lose the ability to warp and to do the Echo and such from there. So this lets it basically recharge faster. The one over here, swap and launch, I don't know what this is yet, haven't got there. So, take a quick look at the map. The way that works, you can see where there's grubs out and about. Now, I strongly suspect that a lot of this has to do with level of the map that I'm not seeing right now, because obviously these things are way out in the middle of nowhere. And I missed a couple back there. But it's not a bad map. It's not great. It's kind of like a mall map, you know, the little "you are here" icon and stuff like that. Alright. So up here, we've got sort of the first boss battle. You meet up with this guy a little bit earlier in the game, but you're pretty much just running away from him. So now it's actually a bit of a fight. Main character is so cute.
I'm glad I get to kill you myself. Hey. Aha. That won't
I'm going to try and use Echo to lead him around.
There's nowhere to run.
Come on, over here. Pay attention, you big beastly bastard.
There you are. Get back
Come
here.
on.
Your luck won't last.
Take this one.
I'll find you. You're a sneak. I see you.
Definitely a bit tricky.
Huh? Hey. Pathetic.
Take out the power tower.
There you are. No more. That won't work.
Structural integrity.
Next one.
You don't have long. Aha! There you are. Miss. Pathetic.
Warning.
You're running out of places to hide.
Last tower.
This is the end.
And there we have the first boss battle. Successfully completed.
There. I've got you now.
Excellent. Poor bastard's stuck. And we wake up in a pile of blood. Well, I guess we won't be seeing him again. So ultimately, my review comes down to this being a good game. It is worth spending $10 on. It's worth your money and your time. It's a lot of fun. It has some problems. The problems I've identified so far, the control scheme by far is the worst. This controls very poorly on a keyboard. It's not a good way of controlling this kind of game, but it works fantastic with a gamepad. So if you've got a gamepad hooked up to your PC, you're just laughing. If you got this one on Xbox Live, it's going to be great. Takes a little bit of getting used to, though, on the keyboard. A couple of the other bugs, we've got a bunch of clipping as far as small, tight spaces like the little sort of ducts that you go through. There's some issues with loading that I have a problem with, where if you die as the result of some sort of a physics catastrophe, an explosion or something like that, and you load quickly, you're going to get the remnants of that explosion showing up on your screen depending on where your checkpoint was. So I was fighting that boss at the end there, and he killed me by ramming into one of those poles. I loaded it, and I saw all of the explosion chunks flying around the screen, even though the level was fresh. The other thing that I had a problem with loading, in the challenges, you have to reload every time you're going to do it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They really should just be spawning a new character at the beginning. I don't see why the level has to be loaded again. It's already in memory. Other than that, the sound is good, the music is good, the voiceover is quality. All in all, it's a good product. However, if I had known that it was an Electronic Arts-backed game, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. That's kind of where my whole misleading the customer thing goes. Now, I understand it may well be that EA is only publishing just the retail copies. But when it comes right down to it, if you have to register this with Origin, you don't have a choice. And it's already a Steam game. I mean, Steam has its own DRM. It is a DRM program. That's what it's for. So registering it with 2 when you bought it on 1 doesn't make a lot of sense. Other than that, I don't really have a lot else to say on this one. It has really good gameplay. It's worth taking a look at. So, that's it, that's all. This has been Warp by Trapdoor. My name's Tarmack for the Gnomecast. Cheers.